All right, welcome back, fellas. Today we're going to be talking about SUI. Nothing else, just SUI. Today, the Fed did cut rates by 25 basis points. We got the expected cut. That was a couple hours ago. It's now 5 p.m. But we're not going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about SUI today, and specifically, how high can SUI go this cycle? Now, if you guys have been following along, SUI is my biggest holding by far. Actually, let's just show you guys real quick for those of you who are new, but SUI is around 21% of my portfolio if you add in all of its other ecosystem tokens like Walrus, Ika, and DeepBook, wherever that is, DeepBook. It's about 30% plus. I think it's probably closer to about 40% of my portfolio, 35 to 40 range probably. Now, why SUI? I go into this a little bit more depth in my other videos. Why I like the chain a little bit. You know what I'm doing with the ecosystem with its yield farming and lending. But we're not going to go into that today. It's going to be purely a price prediction. Now, as you guys know, I don't like price predictions because you can't actually predict the price. There's too many variables where you'll never be able to there's no mathematical, formula that's really going to pinpoint you a direct top, especially, a couple months out from that. There might be pretty good indicators that, you're in the top when it's happening, but a couple months before that, you're not going to be able to see future price predictions. There's just too many variables, right? But I'm going to give you guys what I think it could go to. Now, this is my SUI chart. I think this is a pretty healthy chart, and this is exactly where I kind of see things going at the end of this cycle and then into next year's bear market. I think we can, if this does happen, we would probably retrace back down to the, actually, let me just draw a new one. But if this price prediction does hold out, this has a top around $14, we would probably retrace down to the 618 to the 786, so that's down here. I expect it, next bear market to be around $1 or a little bit below. So now that we got the bear market out of the way, I don't want to talk about that too much, but I think next year is going to crash pretty hard below this region. Now, as far as this cycle, what is my price prediction? Okay, now it's tough, like I said, but we're going to show you a couple of different things. Now, first thing is just the charts, right? What are the technicals saying? Fibonacci, the Elliott wave theory, I'm very big on those, but those obviously don't tell the full story, but they do tell us a pretty big picture. Now, what I really like to do is I like to use Elliott wave theory for the pattern, okay, and understanding the pattern and what psychology pattern is going on right now. Now, this is a clear 1, 2, 3, and a consolidation 4. This is a classic 4 with a deep retrace into a consolidation, and then we're looking at a wave 5. So usually wave 3 is the biggest, so I expect wave 5 to be similar, but either not as big or slightly bigger. Wave 3 can be the second biggest, but it can't be the smallest out of all three of these. So, it was already bigger than wave 1, so we're in the clear, and I think wave 5 could be close to the size of this wave right here, probably a little bit smaller, because usually wave 3s with a deep retracement and a sideways wave 4 is usually indicates it's going to be the biggest wave, right? Now, what does that tell us? We want to look at where the wave 3 topped in conjunction to the 1, 2. So usually the target is the 618 for the wave 3, right? We didn't hit that. We only hit the 382, which means we had a deep retracement back into the all-time high range. And this 618 is my primary target, $8.46. That's my primary target for SUI. And my average sell price is probably going to be around there. Probably not much higher than that. But that 618 is big. I'm also a believer that this is probably a 1, 2, a 3, 4, and then a wave 5. So we'll take the 618 of that wave as well, which is this. this little Fibonacci extension, and that brings us to $10. So realistically, that's 10.2. So realistically, my main top target is going to be in this box right here. So $10.2 down to $8.4 around. That's my main target. I think SUI can go higher, especially because this wave 3, the 272 is at 10.3. Usually we'll sweep past the 272 and go towards, you know, the 618, but you know, the 618 is all the way at $24. I don't think that happens. So realistically, if I were to give one price prediction, it would probably be around this $10.2 range to 8.4. I'm gonna say around $9. Okay, which is a very good return from here. It's still like a 2.5x. It's not crazy, but the rest of the ecosystem will see a big benefit from that. You know, Walrus is gonna explode because of that deep book. Ika. Now this is let's estimate at a 3x, right? That is going to be market cap wise. That would be 13 million times 3. 39 million is about a 40. Let's say 40 million market cap. Okay, 40 billion. I'm sorry, 40 billion market cap for SUI. Now, is this reasonable? I think completely. I think it could definitely go higher than that. I mean, if you look at what I like to do is I like to look at coins similar in position, overall position, and see, okay, what did they top at last cycle? So let's go to Chainlink. What market cap did it top at last cycle? 20 billion. What about ADA? 91 billion. What about AVAX? 30 billion. Okay, so from there we already know it's ahead of AVAX, and AVAX peaked at 30 billion last year, so theoretically it should do around at least 30 billion this cycle. Okay, that's a good indicator. Now let's go to some of the, you know, the shittier coins in this area. What about, let's look at other layer ones. What about Near Protocol? What did it peak at last year? 11. Okay, that's significantly lower though. Actually, this is a good example. Ethereum Classic. What did it peak at? 14 billion. So around where SUI is. My point is that you want to take the number ranking and you want to essentially see where they went last year. Oh, what about Stellar? Good example. 16 billion. So I think ADA and Chainlink are good examples because they're around here. AVAX especially too. So, you know, if we assume that AVAX, you know, was around this ranking last year, peak bull market, it's going to either go to an equivalent or higher peak market cap this cycle because Bitcoin is way higher than it was last cycle. Same with Ethereum is going to be higher. XRP, all these coins, Tether especially, market cap is way higher. So let's say, for example, AVAX was number 15 overall when it was at 30 billion. Well, if it's at 15 right now, this cycle it's going to go way past 30 billion because the coins are going to be valued higher than they were last cycle. So as long as the position stays relatively close to the top 10, SUI should easily go past 30 billion, which is pretty much what I'm trying to say. You know, I think that 30 to 60 billion is kind of the sweet spot, but I think it could go higher. I think it could go towards 90 billion. You know, we saw Cardano hit 90 billion last cycle. You know, the thing is that I'm pretty sure, don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure there has never been a coin ever besides Bitcoin to do 100 billion market cap in their first cycle. Usually the money flow takes a little bit longer than that. But I'm pretty sure, I don't think, like did Solana hit it last cycle? No, it didn't. Yeah, see, Solana didn't even do it last cycle. Like, I don't know. It would take a lot of money coming in, and you know, a lot more TVL locked up in these DeFi protocols to get SUI to 100 billion. So I'm not banking on it. You know, that would put it at around $20, I think, $25 range. I don't think that's gonna happen. I think anywhere from, you know, $8 to $10 is kind of my target, but I think I can go as high as 15. I would be surprised to see it past the 2.0 right here on this 1.2 right here. I would be surprised to see it past 15.7. You know, up on this box, you know, we have this ascending trend line. It's pretty much just an upward trend line, I feel like. On the logarithmic, I mean, it looks pretty smooth, so yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So essentially my sell strategy is going to be mainly yeah, around this $8 range and all below 4.8, 5.5, 6.8, 7.9, and then I'm holding a little bit to $10 because I think it can hit $10. I think it's gonna go a little bit over $10, but yeah, essentially I'll bank 51,000 if everything goes right. But that's my sell strategy. I'm not looking for a 10x here. I don't think it's gonna 10x. I think this is a solid 2 to 3x play right now. High conviction, you know, play that is, you know, ultimately if you're in the ecosystem like I am, it's going to yield you way more than a 2x because, you know, you have coins like Walrus sitting at I think like 500-600 million market cap. Deep Book is I think even less than that. You know, you got Eka, which is a, you know, a very small cap right now. You got all these ecosystem tokens, not to mention that if you're yield farming and lending and going ham on this ecosystem, you're making crazy yields right now. So I think if you're holding SUI, you're in a great spot to make, you know, close to a 5x on your entire SUI portfolio. You know, maybe a 3 to 5 is a good bet. But, you know, ultimately SUI will carry the portfolio, and I'm trying to lock in at least like a 2x here on my money. Remember, high conviction bet. If you were buying in the 2s, you're going to be satisfied selling the $8 to $10 range. Especially if you've been buying back here too. I mean, think about all of these whales and stuff that I got in here. Like, you know, you don't need to hold for $15, $20 and hope it goes there, because it probably won't. Everyone's going to be offloading. SUI also does lots of incentive giveaways, like incentivizing influencers to talk about them. Let's go to, I'll show you guys that actually in the token unlocks, but yeah, I mean, pretty much what they like to do is they like to, you know, incentivize the community, and they're still minting tokens all through January. They're going to, this supply has been increasing this entire cycle. That's the only thing you gotta be watching out for, because these people who are getting these free tokens from these unlocks are just going to be dumping on you as it goes up and up and up. So that's the main thing you gotta watch out for here. It's a good ecosystem to be in, but you know, it's just a high conviction bet. Get your money and get out and rotate. And rotate off those yields, keep farming those yields, and yeah, ultimately, SUI, if I were to give a price prediction, it's gonna be around $9, probably. I'm gonna say $9.9. No, I think it sweeps 10. I'm gonna go like $10.40 on my price prediction. $10.40 a SUI. I think that would make sense. Maybe it sweeps this 618. And sweeps the 272 briefly. But yeah, I'm going $10.40 on SUI this cycle. So we'll see. We got a couple months for this to play out. Let's see how close this chart plays out. I think we're going to be just green for the next short term, and then we'll, you know, the bubble will pop. But yeah, $10.4. SUI price prediction. I will see you guys in the next video, and also leave a comment, or you know, tell me what you want to see me post. Tell me what you're holding in your portfolio. Let's like really try to grow this, guys. I mean, you know, like tell me what you want to see. Tell me, give me questions, give me your thoughts. You know, let's get this channel to the moon, guys, honestly. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video, probably in a couple days. Peace out.